stock tickers. This is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The latest snapshot of worker productivity shows that it unexpectedly grew in the third quarter, reflecting a slump in the number of hours worked by self-employed Americans. The measure of employee output per hour increased at a 1.6% annualized rate, exceeding all estimates of economists surveyed by Bloomberg. The total number of hours worked from July through September dropped by the most in 6 years, dragged down by an 18% plunge among those working for themselves. Meanwhile, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits climbed to the highest level in 5 weeks, representing a pause in the recent progress that left claims at their lowest level since 1973. Applications last week rose by 16,000 to 276,000. It marked the biggest advance since the end of February. Stock index futures are higher and crude oil is lower. It's down almost 0.2% at $46.23 a barrel. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
You know, as a kind of you pull apart the building aspect and look into the business of what Sleep Train does and how they, not only do they treat the people that walk through the door, but the people that walk there, you generally, you get people that are happy to be there and are, into being there to the point that they'll go and learn about the product so that they can talk about it, and you can kind of get the idea that they feel good about being in the know about mattresses, something that a lot of people probably don't think that you need to go to school and that there's some kind of technology that you need to have in 2015. But maybe it's time you go to Sleep Train and get a little tutorial. Right now, the mattress price wars is going on. It's going to be ending soon. It's where because Sleep Train has the big bargaining power, they get the companies together and they have them punch and duke it out. Beauty Rest, Posturepedic, for example, going to go against it, and then you are going to benefit $400 off. It's like, it's like gambling, except it's a guaranteed gamble. You win. Tempur-Pedic is delivering the 1-2 punch, $300 off Tempur-Pedic Breeze collection, plus a Visa gift card by mail worth up to $300 when you add a movable base to your Tempur Breeze. I would say that's not even an option. You've got to have the movable base. The $300, that's added value. That's just on top of the movable base. That's good stuff right there. And only at Sleep Train.
So head on into Sleep Train. They're everywhere, at least locally. Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, Springfield, Nimrod, Drain. You're going to find them everywhere. And tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you.
I won't mention any names, but their initials are
Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
You didn't know Chris Stapleton. I think a lot of people are going to be fans and maybe purchasing some music from Chris. Last night, Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake on the 49th annual CMAs performed the song Drink You Away. Kind of cool to see Justin up there and, say what you say about NSYNC and the whole, boy band thing. He's got some skills, and if you've seen him on Saturday Night Live, he ain't afraid to get up there and take a risk or two. That was great. Little Big Town and Chris Stapleton, big winners. If you didn't have a chance to watch, picking up 3 trophies. Luke Bryan, his second straight Entertainer of the Year. Miranda Lambert. Yeah, female vocalist of the year. Of course, if you've been following the whole TMZ rumor, Blake finally came clean and confirmed that he and Gwen Stefani are an item. So there you go. We've seen some fuzzy pictures, but now it's confirmed. If it was keeping you up at night and you're having difficulty kind of getting on with your own life, the fact that those two lives are together, it's confirmed. Probably a little awkward for Miranda Lambert and Blake to be kind of in the same structure, but that's why they get paid the big bucks.
They're adults. They can deal with it.
6:33, got 50% chance of rain, cloudy, and 55 degrees today. A little bit of fog tonight, down to 39 for the dip, currently 43 degrees now at KPNW. We get any more shots?
Yeah, we're getting more in. It's the your best shot contest where you send us a picture of your hunting excursion with your deer, your elk, your ram, your antelope, your squirrel, and just get it to us, and you could be winning a brand new rifle in the caliber of your choice from of the ones that are available from Oak Grove Guns. Just get them. Just go to KPNW.com. Click on. You'll see there's what we refer to as the banner, which is just kind of on the left-hand top of the screen there. And you'll see it has arrows on it. You just click on it until you get the best shot contest. You'll see the rifle there. Click on it, and it gives you all the instructions on how to send us your picture. We will be announcing yesterday's winner coming up, and the reason that we'll be doing it coming up is because off the top of my head I can't remember it now. And also today's winner. So we do daily winners that get stuff like Northwest Burgers and stuff from Coburg Car Wash, and then we'll have a grand prize winner out of those. Interesting email. And it has to do with the discussion that we had yesterday with Lise Wheel. And it had to do with Judge Vance Day, the Marion County judge, who is now undergoing a judicial review because, well, the real reason is because he said, you know what, I'm going to stop doing marriages altogether because it is against my religion to support gay marriages. All right. Now, he's not required by law to do marriages. That is not a lawful requirement that he has to do them as a judge here in Oregon. So, writes the emailer, our Oregon has become a state I no longer understand. Vance Day, Marion County judge, is my cousin. I met him doing genealogy, and we share a common ancestry. He invited me to come to the Marion County Courthouse, where his chambers is displayed our older ancestors' photos and history. His knowledge of our history was amazing. He, like me, studies early history and the wars. He's a family historian. Each year, we have our reunion in which Vance helps organize. Our early Oregon ancestor, Gabriel, was an attorney from Illinois who came here and began writing provisional law when Oregon was still a territory. And Gabriel, an honored 1812 war vet, honored by Polk County in a lengthy newspaper article, swore Joseph Lane into office as an Oregon First Territorial Governor. He also swore into office Kitsing Pritchett as Secretary of State and later defended the Indians in the Whitman Massacre. Wow. If Vance had a memorial to Hitler in his office, it was much deeper than most would recognize. That I would appreciate. I'm proud of Vance and his stand. I'm sorry the vast majority of Oregonians have lost their light. We as Christians have gays, and we're having filth crammed down our throats, expecting us to think it's normal. You don't even have to be a Christian to know the biology is wrong. I wanted to defend Vance and tell you he's my hero for standing up for his beliefs. That comes to us from one of our emailers, 1120 KPNW at gmail.com. The discussion yesterday with Lise really centered around this judicial review. My disagreement with it is that how can a guy be breaking the law when it's not even the law that says he is required to even do marriages? I mean, it's one of those things, if you're a judge, you can do them, but you're not required by law to do them. And so my confusion there is, well, if you've decided you're not going to do any of them, then how are you discriminating if you're not doing I mean, regardless of how you feel about it, yay or nay, how is it illegal if, number one, he's not required by law to perform weddings, and number two, he's decided he's not going to do any of them? If he believes morally, I can't do this one type of marriage, you know, he's decided, okay, I can't do any of them. And so he just stopped. So anyway, he is undergoing a judicial review for that.
What would be the difference if he said, I just want to spend more time with my family and work on my golf game?
Probably not a whole lot.
Huh?
Yeah. Instead of doing marriages, he would do it that way.
I don't have the time.
And I don't think, you know, this picture, everybody makes a big deal of the Hitler picture. All right? Google it. If you do Vance Day Hitler picture, you'll find a picture of it. And if you take a look at it, you realize, okay, this isn't some sort of ode or memorial tribute to Adolf Hitler. Like I said yesterday, it's like my uncle, who was in World War II, brought home a what they referred to as a meatball flag, which was the Japanese flag. Well, he brought it home, and along with it was a collage of pictures from his guys, you know, from the guys he served with in the Marines, the ones that went into Japan, pictures of the different parts of their campaign and everything else. It's like, how is that any different? It's the same kind of thing. It is 6:39 KPNW.
Hi, I'm Eric Harple with Realty One Group. You've heard our ads with Glenn Beck and Lars Larson for years, and like they said, I have been the top real estate agent in Lane County for more than 5 years. But honestly, who cares? What I care about is helping you get your home sold for the most money possible within your time frame. My team and I help more home sellers sell than any other agent, and most at full price or more. How? Massive marketing. When you're number one, you can do things the others can't. I'm not bragging. I'm applying for a job. I want to be your realtor. And if you're not happy, fire me. Mind you, I think you'll be happy because our bulletproof listing offers flexible commissions, the right to sell it yourself, cancel anytime. You're in control. We sell homes for top dollar regardless of the time of year, and we put the money in your pocket. For a free information package, call 541-286-3030. Call Harple Real Estate countywide 541-286-3030 or harplehomes.com. Thank you.
Today, my new dad threw a barbecue.
Today, my new son and I threw a barbecue.
There were burgers and chicken.
I burnt everything. The burgers, the chicken, the salad.
They were delicious.
They were awful.
And then we had watermelon.
I'm allergic to watermelon.
And then we played catch.
I broke Mr. Lewis's window, Mrs. Wakeham's window, Mrs. Wakeham's windshield. And then, somehow, my hand. My hand!
And then my dad even let me drive his car.
The hospital's on the right! It was a rough day.
It was a great day.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, don't look at me. I didn't invite them.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I don't know why, but every time I hear this music bed, I'm thinking of Linus and Charlie Brown. Yeah. So I guess this would be the perfect time to start talking about Obamacare then, because that was such a big part of all of the Peanuts specials. So President Obama now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, is once again ramping up the election, or pardon me, the PR machine, trying to get people to enroll in the Affordable Care Act. And the administration last month announced what, at least according to the Congressional Budget Office, was a pretty low enrollment target, which was 10 million people. All right, that's what he was saying, what he was shooting for. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicted in June that 20 million people would need to enroll. To talk about that this morning, it is Bethany Blankley, political analyst, former congressional aide. She's on the wake-up call this morning. Hi, Bethany. Thanks for being with us. So, a big variation in numbers here. Does the White House's spin on this, which was taken from Press Secretary Josh Earnest, when he said, well, the president's goal is lower because the CBO estimated that the budget office expected employers or more employers to slash workers' health coverage, which is in and of itself kind of a damning statement. So first things first, does that actually hold water?
No, and I think, so many people have lost health insurance because of the Affordable Care Act, which is neither affordable or even accessible. And insurers are losing money. The government is paying, I think 80% now of most of the people who can't afford it. And then there are apparently insurers, I'm looking at different Forbes, where insurers owe over several $100 million, and they're asking billions of dollars for the program from the government. And, so I think much of Obamacare has been a disaster, and the media has not reported on it in terms of, all of the cronyism that goes along with it.
Well, I think, what the thing that struck me about his statement, and he started off by saying that on Tuesday about 40,000 people applied for coverage in the first 6 hours, which was consistent with open enrollment last year. Okay, fine, and all fine and dandy. But what I found damning was he said that the reason our goal is lower is because, the CBO estimated that 10 million Americans were going to lose their insurance because it was going to be cut by their employers.
Correct.
That, in and of itself, should be a red flag for somebody, and yet that statement just kind of was let pass. I mean, it was given a pass. If you have 10 million people that are losing their insurance because their employers are cutting it, number one, that's just a concern in general, and number two, somebody should be asking, well, gee, why would the employers be cutting their employees in health insurance?
They can't cover the fines and the costs associated with everything related to it. And I think that's the biggest problem is that, this whole thing was a mess from the beginning. The people who benefited from this were a handful of already wealthy people, either in the banks or Wall Street or certain pharmaceutical or medical companies, and millions and millions and millions of Americans who already had health insurance lost their health insurance, and people who are attempting to even try to get Obamacare, they can't get it. So the people who need health insurance the most, like the unemployed, the millions of people who continue to lose their jobs under this administration, they cannot get Obamacare. So the whole concept of having access to free, affordable, accessible health care doesn't exist. You have to be able to pay into the system, and you have to actually, pay a percentage in order to get a quote-unquote grant that they're going to fine you for, that you're going to owe based on your quote-unquote income for the next year. It's a disaster, and it's very, very unfortunate.
Can you think of any government program, and I mean, going back into the 30s, can you think of any government program that has been rolled out that has been a bigger mess overall and a bigger ongoing mess than the Affordable Care Act? I mean, there have been different rollouts that have been kind of ugly, but this, I don't know, seems to me to be worse than any of them.
Well, no, I agree. I think this is the worst. But I also think that what the government has been doing with people's Social Security is probably as equally as bad. Because they're taking the money out of Social Security, putting it towards other things, and then they're reducing people's already required pensions and taxes going into Social Security. That's garnished from their wages, and they're reducing it and taking it from people who are actually working and putting into the system and giving that money to illegals who have put nothing into the system. And so I think, right now we have a rogue government that doesn't represent the people. We have people who are continuing to lose their health insurance and jobs. And I think, that is the biggest concern for Americans. And it doesn't seem to matter whoever they elect into Congress. The outcome is the same. They're not being represented, and I think that is why there is so much discouragement and apathy and, disconnect between people, regular Americans, and people who are supposed to be supporting them in D.C.
All right. Bethany,
representing them.
Thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Bethany Blankley on the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW. Appreciate that. So, man, I had something on the top of my head. I just totally lost it. I was blindsided by, I don't know what. I did.
You don't even know what you're.
I don't even know what I was blindsided by. I totally lost it. I had it and it just went out the window. I'm going to be over here, Bill. Oh, I'll be over here if you want me. If you can remember me, whoever you are, whatever. Oh, it's a choir. Kind of a choir. So, the holiday season is rapidly approaching. And the folks at Guarantee Chevrolet salute all the hardworking people here in the Willamette Valley. Now, if you're one of those hardworking folks who has been struggling since the recession, Guarantee has a very special opportunity for you. It's a part of their annual college football bet campaign, and they've got some new offers. So their Good People, Bad Credit program is designed to help folks that have problems because of medical bills, credit cards, student loans, or other financial setbacks in the past years actually get into a quality, safe, reliable vehicle in 48 hours or less. And Guarantee stands beside every one of those folks, every mile of the road, to help them reestablish their credit. So, if you're dealing with late payments or foreclosure, this is an opportunity set up just for you. They have the best finance specialists in the Willamette Valley, and they're going to go all out to help you. And as you may have seen this on TV as part of Guarantee's annual Big Bet Ducks and Beavers sale, you can enter to win the ultimate tailgate experience for this month's big game. No purchase required. You can just enter at any of Guarantee's RV or Chevy lots in Junction City. So, give him a call. Robert Sloan, actually. Give Robert a call at 998-2333, 541-998-2333. Sloan gets you the loan. That's what it says. Sloan gets you the loan. I'm not making that up. He does. It's Sloan. He'll get you the loan.
650 wine.
It's a loan from Sloan.
If you see anything out there that the other folks need to be a road ranger today, help us out. 541-485 KPNW, hour number 2, coming up with the Wake Up Call.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Here's how it works, Mary. You tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades, and I'll use my powers of prognostication to predict your path. Still game?
I'm game.
While riding the train, do you A, relax in your seat, or B, visit the bistro car?
Relax in my seat.
Catch some Z's, or be productive?
Be productive.
Open a book or your laptop?
Laptop.
Email or blog?
Blog.
Okay, here goes. While blogging in your comfy leather chair, you're moved by the sweeping views of the mossy megalopolis that is Oregon. You start building tiny train terrariums with native moss and even make punny t-shirts like, don't forget to moss.
Wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah, it's a gift. Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
Your plan is to make the most out of life. That's why your plan is a Medicare Advantage plan from Pacific Source. It lets you choose from almost any doctor in the region with no deductible. Plus, you get great benefits like prescription drug coverage, protection when you travel, optional dental care, and even discounts on gym memberships. Plans start as low as $39. Pacific Source Medicare, the health plan for all of life's biggest plans. To learn more about our Medicare Advantage plans, call toll-free 888-863-3637, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Visit us online at www.medicare.pacificsource.com. Premium and benefits may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. The provider network may change at any time. Members will receive notice when necessary. Pacific Source Community Health Plans is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Pacific Source Medicare depends on contract renewal.
News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I compared two loan offers for a Bank of America credit card. One was 0% interest over 19 months for a 4% fee. The other was 22 months at 4.99% with no fee. In broad terms, the second one is twice as expensive, so only the ignorant would choose it. But I'm sure the bank is loaning lots of money on these terms, or the same offer wouldn't keep showing up. Still, borrowing on a credit card at these rates is easy and cheap, as long as you pay it off by the time the promotional period ends. If you don't, the rate goes to 10 or 15%. For other deals, it's no doubt more. Here's the nugget. In fact, that's what the bank is counting on when they extend these offers. Typically, the minimum payment is only 1% of the balance. Say you borrow 10 grand. That means about $100 a month. At 0% in 19 months, you would still owe about $8,000. And at 15%, just the interest is now $100 a month. So if you're tempted by one of these deals, figure out how much a month it will take to pay it off completely before the promotion expires. If you're not absolutely sure you can do it, don't pull the trigger. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Weather every 10 minutes during the wake-up call. Count on it. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it might be a good idea to take your umbrella. We've been tracking showers off and on throughout the night. Now expect them to die off over the next couple of hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Temps out there right now are in the mid to low 40s with light winds. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue, but not a real shot at rain. We will see highs rising up to the mid-50s out there with a high of 56 here in town. Friday looks pretty good. High pressure moves in with mostly sunny skies and temps back into the upper 50s to low 60s, but I'm already tracking a massive system set for the weekend. Looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
The Eugene Symphony Guild is proud to present Come to the Cabaret, a fabulous dinner and cabaret show at the Hilton Garden Inn. Wonderful performances featuring music from Les Mis, Sweeney Todd, Hairspray, Dames at Sea, La Cage aux Folles, She Loves Me, and more. Plus, a dessert auction benefiting the Eugene Symphony. It's an evening not to be missed, and it's just around the corner on Friday, November 13th. Gather up your friends and make your reservations today, as seating is limited. For more details, go to eugenesymphonyguild.org.
Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
It's your money, and this is your wake-up call market report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed as investors assess the latest earnings reports and speculate on the timing of an interest rate increase. Right now, the Dow is up 18 points at 17,886. The S&P 500 is up 1 point, and the Nasdaq is up 4. Shares of Facebook are higher. They're up almost 5% this morning after the company's quarterly profit and revenue beat estimates. And the social network said that monthly users jumped 14% to just over 1.5 billion. Shares of Qualcomm are lower. They are down about 9% after the chipmaker's sales and profit forecast fell short of some analyst projections. We are also expecting earnings today from Disney and Kraft Heinz, which just announced job cuts totaling 2,600. The number of Americans filing for jobless benefits hit its highest level in 5 weeks. This past week, applications rose by 16,000 to 276,000. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Tuesday's election was an off-year election. The year before presidential elections, had the Democrats prevailed, we'd be deluged with drive-by media stories calling it bellwether. Instead, the drive-bys are zooming past the results at light speed. They want out of the neighborhood as fast as they can get out. Kentucky was a Democrat Party disaster. The Washington Post says that Republicans stole the hotly contested race for governor. No, Governor-elect Matt Bevin didn't steal the race. He won it. And it was not hotly contested. It was a lopsided butt-kicking, 52 to 42%. Oh, by the way, he's Tea Party. And so is the new lieutenant governor, Janine Hampton, his running mate. First African-American second woman to win a statewide seat in Kentucky. Bevin's also a self-funded candidate like Trump. Can you say bellwether? Houston. Texas voters trounced an LGBT measure that, among other things, would have opened public bathrooms to people in doubt about their gender and others pretending to be in doubt. In San Francisco, the sheriff who released the illegal immigrant who killed Kate Steinle and who still defended sanctuary cities lost his re-election bid. A Democrat lost in a Democrat place. In Virginia, Terry McAuliffe and Michael Bloomberg spent tons of money trying to turn the state legislature Democrat to pass gun control, and they bombed out. In Bridgeport, Connecticut, former Mayor Joe Ganim, who spent 7 years in prison for corruption, won his re-election bid. So the night wasn't a total loss for Democrats. A criminal element prevailed there. 3 cheers. Do you know there are more cell phones in America than there are people? 330 million of them and counting. You have one, maybe two. Your spouse has one. Your kids each have one. Sooner or later, one or more of these phones is going to accidentally break. So protecting them all is a smart idea, and Square Trade is the best way to do that. Square Trade family protection plans are less than $4 a month per phone. A family of 4 can save as much as $500 a year from other protection plans offered directly by your phone carrier. Square Trade offers you help immediately when a phone needs repair or replacement after an accident. Now, wherever you are in the 2-year carrier plan, you can switch your protection plan to Square Trade. All the details are on their website. So protect your new phone, any phone, with Square Trade. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
We cannot be certain that the Russian airliner was brought down by a terrorist bomb.
But Britain's Prime Minister, David Cameron, says it appears likely the Russian jet was blown out of the sky, killing 224 people in the Egyptian desert, something Egypt's president doesn't want to hear. Fox's Simon Owen, live in London.
Dave, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi happens to be here visiting the UK on a pre-arranged trip, just as Britain suspends all flights between the UK and the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, from where the Russian plane took off. British Transport Minister Patrick McLaughlin saying Egyptian airport security needs tightening.
We are working with the Egyptians and the airlines to put in place long-term sustainable measures to ensure our flights remain safe.
But Egypt calling the British move premature. Dave?
Simon, Marco Rubio is in New Hampshire, the latest to formally file for the nation's first primary. Under attack lately over credit card use, which the Republican says is a discredited story.
I find it curious that Donald Trump, the only person in this race that's filed for bankruptcy not once but 4 times, is attacking anyone's finances.
Rubio's tied with Ted Cruz for third in the latest Fox poll at 11%. Trump is first, 3 points ahead of Ben Carson, and Trump will get the spotlight Saturday night live. But some are trying to stop that. Fox's Rachel Sutherland does this live.
Protesters chanted outside NBC headquarters in New York, demanding the network find someone other than Trump to guest host Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Due to FCC regulations, Trump can only appear in this promo for less than 4 seconds. Isn't that right?
That's correct, Cecily. I'll be hosting Saturday Night
Live. The protesters say Trump's views on immigration are no joke, have gathered around 500,000 signatures on the petition. No comment about the protests from NBC Universal or Donald Trump. Dave?
Rachel, an NHL star who's been under investigation for a potential rape charge will not be charged. That's Patrick Kane from the Blackhawks. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This is an exciting announcement from Eugene Airport. Today is the day your life gets easier. Getting from point A to point B has never been more efficient. You can now fly nonstop from Eugene Airport to San Jose. That's right. There's now a new nonstop way to San Jose on Alaska Airlines. We're connecting the Silicon Valley to the Silicon Shire. Book your next flight today at alaskaair.com. Fly easy. Fly EUG.
They say I'm a bad kid.
A charity case. A troublemaker.
Worthless. Just a stupid mistake. I don't think I'm a lost cause.
I'm just a kid.
Youth Villages believes that no child is a lost cause. Not a single one. Because a stable, loving family can help any child succeed. And we have an 80% success rate overall that proves it. If you agree, find out how you can help at youthvillages.org.
Seen some gains this morning on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Stocks are higher on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up about 60 points right now at 17,924, getting closer to that 18,000 mark. The Nasdaq up 9, the S&P 500 up 6, and we're having a winning week. We had jobless claims rise by 16,000, and we're waiting on the big jobs report tomorrow. The idea of a rate hike is back on the table. Janet Yellen said so yesterday. Kate Spade swung to a profit and actually saw its sales jump. That stock is up 11.5%. Facebook topped estimates. That is a winner as well at a new high. FireEye, the cybersecurity name, new low, down 23%. Dave.
Nicole, the price of oil is down about a quarter, around 46 bucks a barrel. Gas is a penny pricier. AAA's national average for regular is at $2.21 a gallon. The high times keep rolling in Colorado, where legal weed has put a lot of money into a pot that is going to help college students. In Pueblo, Colorado, they have in the county there the world's largest outdoor marijuana farm. Voters have approved a 5% increase in pot taxes to pay for it. Now the county expects to raise $3.5 million a year by 2020, and it's putting together the first college scholarship funded entirely by marijuana taxes. Only students at Pueblo Community College or Colorado State University in Pueblo would be eligible. Luke Bryan wins again at the CMA Awards on ABC, Entertainer of the Year for a second straight year. Miranda Lambert, once again, Female Vocalist of the Year for the 6th straight time. But there's a new face for country music, Best Male Vocalist.
You know, about 2 years ago, I lost my dad, and I made this record thinking a lot about the music that he would have liked.
That's Chris Stapleton. He also won Best New Artist and Album of the Year. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
KPNW, good morning, 7:05. The wake-up call with a 50% chance of rain. Cloudy, 55 for the high temp. Areas of fog tonight, otherwise cloudy, and 38 degrees coming up tonight. 42 currently at the ranch.
Nothing seems to feel the same. No one seems
I'm looking at 126 out there. Was hoping for a little bit of white stuff. There is none.
Did you look at Highway 58? Willamette Pass?
Let me look at it.
That's kind of pretty.
Oh, are they getting snow up there?
30 degrees. Ooh, and
look at that whiteness.
Crisp.
Whiteness.
Looks winter-y.
Is it bad that we're sitting here hoping for snow?
Why would it be?
Well, I don't know, because some people don't like snow.
But then don't go to it. I mean,
there you go.
It snows here maybe. I mean, it didn't snow here last year at all here in Eugene proper.
No. Temperature is 30 degrees, by the way, at Willamette Pass. 30 degrees. Carry your chains or traction tires. Nice.
See?
Yeah.
I'm curious what folks think about the Department of Defense over a number of years paying, where's my notes? Millions of dollars to 14 NFL teams.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Remember
for the flyovers and the big flags, and it's like, you know, those should have been, I think, the NFL teams doing, and I think people thinking, oh, gosh, the Falcons, the Browns, and the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, I mean, you have the cost of fuel and stuff for the flyover, but they're actually, if you recall the story, they were actually paying the teams to
NFL
go
teams.
out, go out and do that, which was ridiculous.
And I'm wondering so 14 teams, you know, your Falcons, Ravens, Cowboys, Packers, Ravens, okay, they're all getting paid. Jets, $377,000 between 2011 and 2014. What are the other teams doing? And are they feeling slighted for, you know, maybe they do a tribute, maybe they do something to honor the military, and they're not getting any paycheck for it? Do they feel slighted? I would hope,
probably a little.
You know, your favorite NFL team, I would hope you know, it's for the good of the community, and we are honoring these, you know, heroes for helping us out. in the day of the almighty dollar, I could see them now doing a little lobbying, a little campaigning to get a little bit of that green.
Yeah. I think what they were doing was, at that time, they were accepting extra money from canned chili for product placement, like Denison's or something.
I guess you do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the bucks.
That's right, for you guys eating chili out of a can over the sink.
Jackie from A Family for Every Child coming up to talk about what they have going on, and before that, the news.
Yeah, we'll have a number of stories for you. eWeb is saying, well, maybe we'll just back slowly away from our plan dealing with charging people who use less electricity more and those who use more electricity less, but we're going to back away from it kind of, sort of. Anyway, we'll have that story coming up this morning. Also, some aftermath of yesterday's, or actually Tuesday's voting. When are the fire trucks going to arrive for the Lane Fire District? We'll have some details there. We'll take a look at what's going on in Washington, D.C. with your legislative members. Those stories and more, including what are causing more blackouts here in Oregon. Could it be pot grows? Those stories and more brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Couple of things. If you're headed northbound on I-5 from our part of the state, apparently there is a disabled vehicle up near Woodburn. That is confirmed. There's an unconfirmed report of a crash there at milepost 237, 3 miles north of Albany, there on I-5. So just be ready for it. It's coming. Potentially you're headed that way if you're headed north. Everything in our neck of the woods, knock on Formica, looking good. It's 7:10 on KPNW.
Burrito Amigos and game day. You can't beat them. Having a game night in while the team is on the road? Well, invite all your amigos over and let Burrito Amigos supply the eats. Call in an order, pick it up, and it's party on. On the hot side, I suggest Fire Bites. They're deep-fried jalapeno slices, or treat your guests to cheese-filled jalapenos, pepitas. Or go deep with tacos, taquitos, and nachos. And Burrito Amigos taco salads are so big, everyone can dig in. Now, on the side, you can supply the chips, while Burrito Amigos supplies the fresh beans, rice, and salsa to dip those chips in. If you want to plan ahead, stop by the night before and get some fresh, cold tamales by the dozen and nuke them at home the day of the game. Here's your Burrito Amigos helpful hint. When you go the tamale route, take home some mole or the thick, cheesy, spicy poblano soup to use as sauce over the tamales. Better yet, use both. And of course, all of this is great for tailgate parties. You might even go the burrito route. Burrito Amigos all over Eugene and Springfield. As Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, I can tell you there are some weekends where you may even like Burrito Amigos better than the game.
Oak Grove Guns wants all hunters to be safe this season, so here's some basic rules. Number 1, don't shoot each other. It seems so simple, but when you're on the trail tracking your animal, make sure your shot is clear and that your target is not your buddy. Wear the proper gear. Don't climb down from the blind or stand with a loaded firearm. Pay attention and use common sense. Oak Grove Guns is proud to once again be an Ed Brown dealer offering some of the finest handcrafted custom 1911s made. Oak Grove Guns, proud to supply guns to responsible gun owners.
With 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, where will you go? Toyota Care. 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, standard on all new models. Visit your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
You'll hear it here first. This is your wake-up call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. And a warm start to your morning. Here's what's going on. eWeb has been getting an earful over their proposal to charge homeowners who use less electricity more and those who use more electricity less. Well, yesterday, the eWeb Board of Commissioners dropped the original proposal, but the utility is still expected to change its fee structure and electricity rates with pretty much the same outcome, just it won't cost quite as much. You see, eWeb's new plan is now to raise everybody's rates about 2.5% and increase the monthly basic fee for the simple privilege of using eWeb services from $20 to $25 a month. Now, those increases would offset a little eWeb's less will cost more will cost less billing plan. The eWeb commissioners will discuss the new proposals on December 1st. Stephanie Rodakowski, a teacher at Thurston High School, is now a former teacher at Thurston High School, after she pleaded guilty to charges of endangering the welfare of a minor and tampering with evidence. You see, Rodakowski had sent nude pictures of herself and a video of herself masturbating to a 15-year-old student. She was sentenced to 30 days in jail. The former English teacher will lose her teaching license, pay $200 in fines, and serve 3 years of probation. During that time, she's also not allowed to have contact with minors except her own kids unless she's in the presence of another adult. Since both charges were misdemeanors, Rodakowski will not be registering as a sex offender. The storms of the last week left a mess of leaves and debris in yards and on the streets. And if you're cleaning up, do not leave your leaf piles out on the curb for pickup in Eugene yet.
We're going to start in the central area of Eugene on November 16th, and then starting November 23rd, we'll branch out into the neighborhoods, and we have a west zone, a south zone, and a north zone.
Eric Jones with Eugene Public Works says that piling up the leaves in the street too early can cause flooding and create a variety of hazards for motorists, bike riders, and pedestrians. That advice also carries over to Springfield, where leaf pickups occur even later in the month.
First round will start west of 28th Street Monday, November 30th, and then east of 28th Street Monday, December 7th. And then our second round of pickup starts west of 28th Street Monday, January 4th, and then again east of 28th Street Monday, January 11th.
Lorraine Spiro with the Springfield Public Works Department says Springfield requires you to bag your leaves. In Eugene, though, you can leave them unbagged on the side of the road. Well, quite a nasty situation on Highway 58 yesterday. It closed the highway for more than 6 hours after a truck and trailer crash. Now, normally that wouldn't close things down for 6 hours. However, this truck was loaded with over 30,000 pounds of human frozen blood and plasma. The blood and plasma was salvaged by bringing in another truck capable of storing materials below freezing to keep them usable. The driver, Kent Osgood from Texas, was cited for failure to maintain a lane. Voters in the South Lane Fire and Rescue District Tuesday passed bond measure 20-237. It eventually will give the district an entirely new front line of firefighting vehicles. The fleet will consist of 5, possibly 6 new pieces, including a much-needed ladder truck.
Manufacturers are already contacting us, though. We should have some kind of idea of what we're going to buy within a month or two, and my hope is to take that to the board for contract awarding and approval in January of 16, and then we would place those orders right after that.
Chief John Wooten says it'll likely be early 2017 before the district takes delivery of the new trucks. The district plans to use social media to provide periodic updates. An Oregon nonprofit has filed a lawsuit reinstating a state law, or trying to reinstate a state law, that would have allowed illegal aliens to get driver's cards. The law was approved by the legislature in 2013, but it was overwhelmingly overturned by voters the following year in a referendum. In its lawsuit, the so-called Oregon Law Center says it's illegal for the state to enforce Measure 88 because it was motivated by a desire to regulate immigration laws, and they say that's the job of the feds. The lawsuit also says the measure was driven by animosity and the desire to punish a politically unpopular minority, and says it targets a group of people for unequal treatment based on Mexican and Central American national origin. Well, the new federal budget cuts $1.5 billion from the Victims of Crime Act Fund. Brad Ford reports it's affecting victim support programs all across the country.
The fund is maintained with money from fines paid by criminals. It is not taxpayer money. Janet Huerta, executive director of Saving Grace in Bend, says Congress shouldn't be able to touch it.
Essentially, they're breaking their own law because the statute reads that the sums deposited shall remain in the fund.
Losing the money will affect their ability to help victims.
For organizations that are really dependent on it, those victims in those areas that get served by those organizations organizations, they're really going to be hurt.
The fund was created by Congress in 1984, where it says larger groups should be able to cover the loss, but smaller programs will definitely be hurt. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Governor Kate Brown announced a leadership change in an independent review of the Oregon Department of Human Services. That move came yesterday, just a few hours after a Willamette Week story saying agency officials knew about alleged problems with a Portland foster care provider, but still continued to place children there. Now, 2 weeks ago, the Oregon Department of Justice filed a lawsuit accusing the provider, Give Us This Day, of misspending, wait for it, $2 million in state funds. Brown said in a statement she has serious concerns and that when it comes to ensuring the safety of children in the state's care, she says we must be uncompromising. Oregon's Chief Operating Officer, Clyde Sakai, will replace Interim Agency Director Jerry Waybrandt. Waybrandt took over this summer after longtime director Aaron Kelly Seal stepped down. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley is leading an effort to pass a bill that would kill jobs and stop new drilling and exploration of fossil fuels in the United States. Merkley says it's a critical step towards a solution to stop global warming.
It is said if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. This is the one place where we literally have to quit digging.
The Keep It in the Ground Act would stop new drilling for fossil fuels in all U.S. lands and waters, including the Pacific, the Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic, and the Arctic. Well, the recently passed federal budget allows collectors of federally backed loans to make robocalls in an attempt to collect their money. Brad Ford reports Oregon Senator Ron Wyden is now fighting that.
Senator Ron Wyden says the budget bill removes some protections provided by the Telephone Consumer Protection Act.
A new way to harass people through robocalls.
The bill allows lenders for things such as student loans, mortgages, veterans, and farmers, anyone with a federally backed loan, to make robocalls to collect their overdue money. Wyden says their bill would return the original protections.
The Hang Up Act will protect Americans from an onslaught of aggressive phone calls and costly cell phone charges.
Wyden is being joined by 9 Democratic senators and independent Bernie Sanders in their attempt to get the bill passed. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Legal indoor marijuana growing operations are now a new kind of safety concern here in Oregon. They're an electrical safety concern. That's because they can overload the power grid and cause more blackouts. Pacific Power said Wednesday that outside home growers or businesses, the issue is that they're overloading the local power grids. Pacific Power says that since July 1st, they've had 7 incidents here in the state where the added usage attributed to home-based growing operations overloaded local equipment and caused outages. In those cases, after an investigation, the utility billed those responsible $5,000 each for the outsized load, which overburdened and damaged local equipment. So, if you're a hiker, a hunter, maybe a mushroom picker, or just a lover of the outdoors, the summer's big fires actually has now officially affected your accessibility on BLM lands for the time being, particularly in the Roseburg district.
Yes, both Cable Crossing and Stouts Creek fire areas remain closed on BLM lands for public safety and, land health and resource integrity while we restore the areas.
These areas are closed to any means of motorized and non-motorized transportation, including foot traffic. This closure will remain in effect until hazards have been cleared. There is no clear end date for the cleanup, so if you plan to traverse those areas, pay special attention to your local BLM website where you'll find details. So police arrested a man accused of chasing people around a Corvallis park with an axe. 2 Oregon State University students told police that the man followed them and said, and I'm quoting, "I'm the axe man, I'm going to get you." The students ran away. They called police. Police arrived and arrested 27-year-old Zachary Williams. Court records show prosecutors accused Williams of harassing actually 5 people. He's charged with menacing, unlawful use of a weapon against another, disorderly conduct, and a probation violation. And he's also charged with theft. That's because he allegedly stole the axe. Williams' court-appointed attorney did not immediately return any calls for comment. At 7:22, this look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Well, if NBA teams circled the Portland Trailblazers on the schedule as a gimme, it might have a little surprise. This team still has Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, and some new athletes on board to make them competitive. Lillard dropped 35, McCollum 27 to launch the Blazers past Utah 108-92. And Washington, the Wizards slipped by the San Antonio Spurs 102-99. Bradley Beal 25 points, 3 of which came with 0.3 of a second left in the game for a walk-off jumper. LaMarcus, a 10-14 night. 2 undefeated teams played, Golden State Warriors and the L.A. Clippers. Warriors persevered even after being down by 10 in the fourth to beat the Clips 112-108. Steph Curry with 31. LeBron James does his best Hulk impression and rips the constricting sleeves off his tight uniform. LeBron scored 23, but not many from the three-point line. LeBron is 2 of 18 from beyond the arc. His team, however, the Cavaliers, win by 10 over the Knicks, 96-86. Oregon wide receiver Byron Marshall had a decision in January whether to return to the Ducks in college football. He's got another one this winter, contemplating a 5th season with the Ducks. He could return with the NCAA's medical hardship waiver, having played less than 30% of the season, assuming they make a bowl game. Might not be done with Byron, as he could be added to a receiver corps next year with Devin Allen, Braylon Addison, and Darren Carrington. High school soccer 5A boys, Springfield will face Wilsonville on Saturday. 4A boys, Junction City plays Staten. Crestwell takes on Oregon Episcopal. In girls soccer, 5A, Marist tackles Hillsboro, and the Pleasant Hill Lowell hybrid team has Oregon Episcopal on Saturday. Crestwell has Westside Christian in their sights. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 7:25.
The most accurate forecast now. We have weather every 10 minutes during Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. We've been tracking showers off and on overnight. They're starting to taper off, but if you're headed out the door in the next few minutes, you might want to take your umbrella. Under mostly cloudy skies, temps out there right now are in the mid to low 40s. 42 here in town with light winds out of the west at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the rain will be gone, but we'll still see mostly cloudy skies across the area. Now, temps will rise to the mid 50s out there with a high of 56 here in town. But we're going to see high pressure move in later tonight. That means your Friday's shaping up to be perfect with mostly sunny skies before another storm system arrives for the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. Booker T. Washington, one of America's all-time humanitarians, gave us these words of wisdom. You can't hold a person down without staying down with him. For those people who, for whatever reason, enjoy their negative attitudes, putting people down and holding others back from accomplishments, actually are keeping themselves in those same positions. For every person you try to keep from moving forward, you yourself will be kept from achieving the same things. And if you help those others to succeed, they may be willing to help you also. Is there someone you can help up today? This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
Built for business. Comcast Business is offering 25 megabits per second internet from $69.95 a month. That means if you're still using slow DSL from the phone company, you have a decision to make. Do you switch to Comcast Business and get more speed for faster downloads, or stick with slow DSL and watch your business stutter from slow speeds? Do you get internet that stays fast when other people are online, or keep using slow DSL and have your employees struggle with lag time? The choice is yours. Switch to Comcast Business and get 25 megabits per second of fast, reliable internet from just $69.95 a month, or stick with slow DSL and get slower speeds, and more downtime at work. Make the smarter choice. Ditch slow DSL and switch today. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 12/31/15. Restrictions apply. 2-year contract and subscription to Comcast Business Voice and Business TV required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
U.S. Bank provides custom solutions to help you grow your business. We take care of the heavy lifting so you can concentrate on what's important. Whether you've just started in a friend's apartment.
All set. Now, if I could just use your printer.
Printer? What printer?
But...
Or opened your first office.
We have a printer.
There goes the printer.
Or if you've recently expanded your office.
Check out all the people in line for this printer.
Or maybe you've opened a new location.
We have so many printers.
Or transitioned your business to new ownership.
I never want to see another printer again.
You'll have a business banker there to guide you every step of the way. Visit your local U.S. Bank branch or usbank.com/business.
I've got a great idea for my next business.
Cool. Print it out and let me see it.
I'm just gonna email it.
Credit products are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. Some restrictions and fees may apply. See your banker for details. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank, National Association, member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
KPNW 728. Little slick out there, 50% chance of rain. Not the fog we had yesterday. 55 degrees the top temp expected. A little bit of fog tonight. 38 the upcoming overnight low. It is 44 at KPNW. Jackie Coburn is the event coordinator and development associate with a Family for Every Child. And she joins us in studio, coming back to, well, actually, this is your first time. You just started in August.
That's correct.
Where did you come from?
I came from Sherman Brothers. Was working as a freight broker there.
And what made you make the jump to a Family for Every Child?
Well, I have a recreation degree, and I also am a birth mom, and I'm adopted, and so adoption is my #1 passion. So when this came up, it's like it was just made for me. So I'm super excited to be there. We're doing a lot of good things. I've met a lot of great people in the community. And we're just gearing up here for our big event coming up on the 17th.
So as event coordinator and development associate, you can kind of maybe figure out what you do, but maybe some of the other things and kind of fill in the blanks with what you do with the organization.
Well, we've got 4 different major events that happen during the year. The annual event, which is our home for the holidays, as I mentioned, is coming up on November 17th, and that's our main fundraiser for the year at Valley River Inn. We also have the Hero event that is at the Mashofsky Center in February, and the Princess for a Day, which is a huge event for the girls, for the kids. We had over 1,500 girls that have participated in that last year, and that's coming up April 3rd.
In one event?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I'm looking forward to it coming up in 2016, but it's free for foster girls and foster kids, and the community, if their kid wants to come to that, it's $50 a child. So
what kind of response do you get from the community because I'm sure, $50 for people that have kids, want to be a part of it. That's probably not enough. How much of that gets funded by the community?
For the Hero event and for the Princess event, we do have a few donors that underwrite that cost. We're driven with volunteers. Our volunteer base we've got over 900 people from the area that come in, and their time is spent with helping us out. And we couldn't do what we do without the volunteers. And so there's just so many people. I'm amazed. There's so many good nonprofits here in this area, and I'm amazed at how this community rallies around everybody, and I'm amazed at how many people support us. It's pretty neat.
If somebody was to want to, donate some time and help out and be a volunteer, what kinds of things would they be doing?
Well, I'll speak to the event coming up here on the 17th. We've got setup, we've got takedown, we need help. This year, for our silent auction, we're doing mobile bidding for the first time ever. I believe NCU did it. And was the first organization in the area to do it, but we are definitely the first nonprofit to do it, and we're really excited because people can just do their bidding on their smartphone from their table, so they don't have to like stock the silent auction sheets. So we need a lot of help with helping with the wine wall, helping with the dessert dash, and then helping people being able to download that app for the mobile bidding. Registration, we're looking at, we need about 70 volunteers, so that's what we're looking for.
And when is the event?
Again, that's on November 17th. It's a Tuesday evening this year at Valley River Inn. The actual event's from 5:30 to 9:30.
Okay. Very cool. And so if somebody wants to help out, they've got some time on their hands that they can help out. How do they get in touch with you, or how do they get it inputted?
Yeah, they could totally call a Family for Every Child, and that number's 541-343-2856. We need a lot of help this next week to prepping all the packages for the silent auction. And so if anybody has any time, whether it be morning, afternoon, evening, we're going to be there this next week. Just call the office. We'll get you set up, and we'll have some fun.
Can I ask I want to ask an off-topic question, kind of, sort of. You mentioned at the very outset that you were adopted. Were you adopted as a baby or as an older child?
My parents got me when I was 2 months and 4 days old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you end up finding out that you had been adopted? Were they just upfront about it, or was that something that came later on that, oh, by the way?
Yeah, it's like I've always known. So I know that they told me early. So it was always just a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big advocate for open things. I mentioned, too, I'm a birth mom, and my birth son, who lives in Michigan, he knows me. They come and visit every other year. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's important because when you shed light on stuff, there's no secrets, and it's just a matter of fact. It's like spreading your tent pegs and opening up your family and having it grow through it. So, and that's what we're looking for, for these foster kids that are needing a forever family. And I love what AFEC does, a Family for Every Child, in that they're looking for a family that's going to match with that child, that's going to just fit right for the child. And so I appreciate what Christy started there in 2006 and what we're doing.
It's pretty amazing, and it's going, I mean, it was regional, and then she's kind of opened it up where it's all over the country, correct?
It is. We have a presence. I know that we work, I believe, with some kids in Texas. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah, it is nationally. It's amazing that I did not realize the AFEC had an adoption agency. There's 10 programs that are under that AFEC umbrella, and one of them is the adoption agency, and it's actually affordable. Any normal adoption would be anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 for an adoption. I know with AFEC, it's $1,500, and that's the cost of the home study. And so we really, truly are in it for the foster children to get them out of the foster care system. So
what should, if somebody is thinking, maybe they've had that discussion, and then they're thinking or contemplating or wondering if it's right for them, what kinds of things should they ask themselves, and what kinds of things should they kind of do as a self-assessed test before they take the next level?
I think we met with a couple last week that are getting ready to finalize their adoption, and the story that the mother told me was that the caseworker, we have wonderful caseworkers that we work with too, that work with us, and the caseworker came in, and the question she asked was, are you ready for your life, for you, your husband, and your boys? Are you ready for your life to turn upside down for this? And you have to ask yourself the hard questions, because we all have issues. Foster kids, they literally do travel around with trash bags with their stuff in it, and they get pulled out of of a home and end up in another place. And so, you know, every child's different. The support that we offer is great in terms of tools to help. And so, yeah, I would really suggest, you know, if you're thinking about it, give us a call. Kim Esser, she's the director of our adoption agency. She could really talk you through some stuff. We have a family matching and a child matching program, which is one of those 10 programs that the caseworker will help them to match with families, and then the child finding would help the families match with the children. It's like kind of like a Skype session that's facilitated with another person in our office. So we do have the resources to be able to help these families and get these kids placed, get them out of the system, and get them into homes.
My understanding is that there's a lot of kids, you know, that well, not most, but a lot of people that want to adopt, obviously looking for babies or very, very young children, and that there's a greater need for folks that are willing or want to adopt, you know, a kid that's 11, 12, 13 years old. Is that true, or is that just my misconception?
You know, I think that that there's some truth to that. I know that a Family for Every Child, we specialize in the harder to place children, which would include older kids, kids with disabilities, or sibling sets. And so I think that if a couple is really passionate and really does desire to adopt, I think that they can, you know, once they start talking with the caseworkers and stuff, a lot of times I think that they find that their minds start getting open to maybe other options, and sometimes your heart can change in the process, and maybe you might, you know, kind of take a look at some of these different situations with children that might be a little bit older or, you know, have siblings that need to be placed.
It sounds like you're doing exactly what you should be doing.
Absolutely.
You are.
Absolutely.
Jackie, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Jackie Coburn, who's the event coordinator and development associate with the Family for Every Child. If you're driving or can't write it down, just Google A Family for Every Child, and their great website will come up. 7:39 KPNW. Good morning.
It's the latest wake-up call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. A report today showed the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits rose more than economists forecast to a 5-week high. This is a bit of a pause in the recent progress we've been making on payrolls. Tomorrow's big government jobs report will be the focus as investors are looking at the Fed's next steps. Stocks are a little changed ahead of that. Facebook notched another quarter of revenue that beat estimates after stepping up its mobile advertising efforts. There are now more than 1 billion daily visitors checking on other people on the site. Facebook isn't just relying on more users, it's also putting more ads in front of this vast growing audience. The company brought its full marketing power to Instagram for the first time this quarter. NFL fans are about to see even more Bud Light. The beer brand is expanding its current sponsorship with the NFL and adding 5 more seasons to the contract. The brewer will pay the league more than $1.4 billion as part of the new agreement, and that is according to people familiar. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What does better mean to you? Better is coffee with a view. Better is a berry from the vine. Better is the journey. At Providence, we know there are many paths to better health. No matter how you define it, Providence Medicare Advantage plans can help you achieve your better. With Providence, you get a no-cost gym membership with all of our plans and access to thousands of providers in and out of Providence facilities. Talk to us about which plan is best for you. Call 1-866-948-5147. That's 1-866-948-5147. We're here from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Providence Medicare Advantage plans. Better you, better world. This information is not a complete description of benefits. Contact the plan for more information. Limitations, co-payments, and restrictions may apply. Benefits may change on January 1st of each year. The provider network may change at any time. You will receive notice when necessary.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
1120 KPNW. Thanks for being with us this morning. 742 on those wet roadways out there. And this morning, let's chat cell phones. Let's chat apps. So, I mean, this is something we've had a discussion about in the Wake Up Call before. We'll take a little bit different look at it this morning. So imagine that, you're being tracked on your cell phone without even knowing it. That's what one woman says happened to her. She said that her ex-husband installed a spy app on her phone and tracked her without her knowledge. But it can happen, and it's a couple of apps, M-Spy and FlexiSpy. Neither app available on the Apple App Store or the Google Play. Instead, you go to the company's website and just download them. To talk about these spyware, and very definitely spyware apps, it is technology usability expert, CEO of a Farsight Better, and expert in cybersecurity, Stephen Laff, joining us on the Wake Up Call. Stephen, thanks for being with us this morning. All right, so how do you, for instance, get, let's say that I'm an ex and I want to get this on my wife's phone, how do I get it on there without actually taking charge of her phone and downloading it?
You don't, in most cases. You do need to have access to the phone, which is probably why, if you're going to be using this software for nefarious reasons, you probably want to wait. You want to probably do it before she becomes the ex-wife, because then you'll have to break into her house, and it'll be just a big mess. But these applications.
Thanks for that clarification.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, anytime. I'm just full of it. So, these applications are not necessarily bad, because when you think about, you want to keep track of your kids, you want to see who they're texting, you want to try to protect them, and all those sorts of things. These applications are really perfect for that, because you can basically see everything that they're doing, and fundamentally they can't know it. And the one application, M-Spy, if you have their login credentials to iCloud, if you have the iPhone, which you should, if you're, the supposedly responsible parent, you're supposed to be monitoring these things, you can actually put the software on without them even knowing it. And perfectly legal and probably ethical and shows that you care.
Okay, stop.
It's the other use that's the more interesting.
Okay, you stated the operative phrase, you can put it on there without them knowing. How do you put it on there without them knowing?
If you have, well, first of all, you have to have access to the phone. So if the phone is unlocked, or if you know the password, you can just pick up the phone, put in the password, install the software, and set it up. And then everything that person does on the phone, all the contacts, all the texts, all the emails, are sent to a third-party server where that person can log in and just look at the activity anytime they want.
Now, does this also track their whereabouts, for instance, using location service?
Yeah, but if we keep our location services on, if we keep, the application that helps us find our iPhone when we don't know where the heck it is, that can track us as well. So the tracking part is not all that difficult to do.
All right. So are you able, with these pieces of spyware or trackingware, whatever you want to call it, are you able then to look at, for instance, not only their contacts, are you able to look at their pictures? Are you able to do things like some pieces of software are where you can actually, turn on the microphone and listen to their conversations and all that stuff?
There are some apps where you can actually do that. The FlexiSpy has the ability to turn on the phone, to turn on the camera, to listen. Now, the FlexiSpy, you need to have the iPhone, what they call jailbroken, which is a way to circumvent a lot of Apple's protective qualities in their operating system. It also does void your warranty, and that's also called the rooting or rooted on the Android phones. If you have that app on the phone, you can do a lot more stuff like what you're talking about, and that's pretty darn scary.
Cyber expert Stephen Lapp on with the Wake Up Call. A friend of mine claimed, or she feared that she was being watched through her phone when she would take a shower. And I said, well, just put a towel over it. And I'm curious whether it's one of these apps that we're talking about or ones where people can actually, watch through the phone. How can you tell? How can you, if you, fear that you're being watched, how can you kind of do a little test to double check?
Well, it can be hard because a lot of us are not very aware of how to even remove some applications on our phone or to see what's actually installed, because you can hide the icon on some of these phones that actually indicate that program's there, which is what you want to do if you have kids, of course. You could look into your installed programs and it'll probably be listed there, but most people don't do that. And the application your friend was concerned about could very well have been what we're talking about. So she should, shower alone, leave the phone outside. But you can also just wipe your phone of everything and reinstall your apps and then restore your data. It's a pain in the butt. But if she really has that level of paranoia, then she needs to either take it to someone who really knows their stuff or just wipe everything and start again. If she had a secure password on her phone that no one knew, or her iCloud password login credentials, she wouldn't have had that problem in the first place. So we do have to take some responsibility for this ourselves.
So we were kind of talking hypothetically that this could be somebody overseas. You're saying no, you had to have had the possession of the phone, know the password to put everything on there, correct? You can't hack your way through it?
There is nothing on Earth that is unhackable, but the odds are that she is not going to have this issue unless someone has gotten her password to her iCloud or has had physical possession of the phone.
Okay, so off the email, ask your guest if the app will show up in Manage Apps.
That is an question that I cannot answer, but I almost installed it last night. I almost put this on, but then I went, oh God, I don't even want to do this because this stuff's scary to me. But I am assuming that if you look into the app, which shows you everything that is installed, you would be able to see it.
Yeah, but see, here's the question. Okay, you would be able to see it, but will you even see it under that name? I mean, if you go through your Manage Apps or installed apps, I mean, there's different, at least on my smartphone, there's different types of ways that you can look at different types of apps. There's stuff that you find in there that are system apps and so on and so forth where, I mean, I look at it and go, I don't know what the hell that even is. And I don't know whether taking it out is going to destroy my phone or not. I mean, what are the chances that if you do find this buried, somewhere in the files on your apps, that it's even going to show up as, oh, it's MSpy or FlexiSpy as opposed to, Operating B app or, some other name? Well, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. It's very true. You're absolutely right. And, you have to, we put all these software, all these programs on our phone. We have to keep track, and we have to remember what the heck we've done.
Well, yeah, but
on our desktop computer, but wait, hold on a second. But on my desktop computer, this is a well-known issue. And if something does not seem familiar, and it's not something that you recognize, you got to get rid of it.
Okay, but when as soon as you get a smartphone, I mean, you can open up those apps, and there are programs in there that are built into your phone that I would have no idea what the things do. And one assumes that, well, they're there for a particular reason. And so, I mean, if you're in there and all of a sudden you're, deleting these apps, I mean, I'm looking at, I went into my phone just now. Enterprise SIM PIN service. Okay, that came with the phone. Now, I know that because I remember seeing it before, but if I just open it up and I didn't know what that was and I delete it, how do I know that I'm not actually wrecking something that's a part of the normal operation of my phone?
On the iPhone, you cannot, and on the Mac computer itself, you cannot delete the operating system critical components and programs.
Okay,
it just won't let you do it.
But what about an Android?
I don't know the Android enough to be able to answer that.
Oh, you're a Mackie, aren't you? You're a Mac head. You're a Mac head, aren't you? Come on.
I'm guilty.
Okay. All right. Stephen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you this morning.
Likewise.
A Farsight Better, is that the name of actually your website?
Yes.
Okay, a Farsight, S-I-T-E Better, and I'm assuming .com, correct?
It is, correct, yes.
All right. Stephen, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right, take care. News Radio 1120 KPNW, where it is 7:53. I mean, I'm sitting here. Okay, so on your Android, you know, you go into essentially your settings, and then over here on the far right, it's more, and you click on that, and then you've got your application manager, and you've got downloaded, SD card, running, and then all. So if you look at all, I mean, you're going to come across stuff like device keystring, digital pen SDK. And I look at it and I go, well, how would you even know? What of these things, if you start deleting it, what is supposed to be there and what is not supposed to be there? I mean, some stuff like file installer and things like that, well, okay, yeah, that's probably something I don't want to be yanking off there, but other things, glance view MK. So that's, to me, one of the biggest things, and I know that if I wanted to, although it would take hours, that you can sit there and you can go on the internet and you can Google each one of these things, like HW module test, or IN disk service manager, or, you know, any of the other things that are automatically come with your phone. But see, that's, I think the main issue with a lot of these things is that how do you know? And if it doesn't come up as M-Spy or Flexi-Spy, it comes up again as something, say, called Kids Mode. How would you know? Anyway, 7:55. It's KPN.
Do you ever get a little jealous of those cyclists cruising by? Wish you could be back on a bike? Well, with Eugene Electric Bicycles, you can. Our e-bikes are just like traditional bicycles, but when you need that little extra push to get up a hill or keep up with your partner, you just engage the power and zoom. Come test ride one of our electric bicycles on our traffic-free route to the River Trail and rediscover the joy of cycling. Eugene Electric Bicycles, across from Fifth Street Market, next to St. Vinny's. Zoom!
The weather is changing as quick as our wardrobes, and now is the time to replace your old inefficient heating and cooling system with a new Carrier energy efficient system. Pacific Air Comfort and Carrier offers huge factory and utility incentives, tax credits, and rebates. Pacific Air has saved customers hundreds of dollars on their utility bills. Imagine what you could buy with all the money you save. Turn to the experts at Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer at 541-342-5300. Also online at pacificaircomfort.com.
When you take the train, there's no telling what adventures await you. But that didn't stop us from speculating. Okay, Ben, you tell me what you do aboard Amtrak Cascades. I tell you how your seemingly innocuous decisions ultimately alter the course of your entire existence. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, on the train, do you A, order food, or B, get a drink?
Get a drink.
Nice. Coffee or beer?
Beer me.
Ooh, someone catches your eye. Say hello or find your seat?
Say hello.
She's a Beaver fan. I noticed you're wearing a duck catch.
Ugh.
Deal breaker or get her number?
Yeah, sure, get her number.
You get her digits. After 6 months of dating, you adopt a rescue dog and you name her Pork Chop. And 4 months later, you propose on the jumbo screen at the Civil War. She spills her drink on you. Boo. But says yes. Yay.
Whoa.
Yeah, want to know your kids' names? Amtrak Cascades. See what happens from Eugene to Portland for less than $20 one way. Start your adventure at Amtrak.com/see what happens. Restrictions may apply.
For thousands of local foster children, the holidays can be an especially difficult time.
Sometimes I feel all alone. Christmas used to be my favorite.
I just don't expect anything.
To help, Sleep Train is holding a Secret Santa toy drive to benefit local foster children.
What if Santa can't find me? I really never had Christmas.
The simple gift of a stuffed animal, doll, game, or toy can help make a foster child's holiday merry and bright.
I've been very, very good this year.
Bring your gift of unwrapped books, toys, and games to any Sleep Train. You can also donate online at sleeptrain.com.
It's just what I always wanted.
On behalf of the foster kids in your neighborhood, Sleep Train thanks you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Not everyone can be a foster parent, but anyone can help a foster child.
Different name, same dedication. Sleep Country, now Sleep Train, is still a passionate supporter of foster children in our communities. Donate today.
Local news, local people, Holloway in London, and the wake-up call.
I want you to get up now.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I compared two loan offers for a Bank of America credit card. One was 0% interest over 19 months for a 4% fee. The other was 22 months at 4.99% with no fee. In broad terms, the second one is twice as expensive, so only the ignorant would choose it. But I'm sure the bank is loaning lots of money on these terms, or the same offer wouldn't keep showing up. Still, borrowing on a credit card at these rates is easy and cheap, as long as you pay it off by the time the promotional period ends. If you don't, the rate goes to 10 or 15%. For other deals, it's no doubt more. Here's the nugget. In fact, that's what the bank is counting on when they extend these offers. Typically, the minimum payment is only 1% of the balance. So you borrow 10 grand. That means about $100 a month. At 0% in 19 months, you would still owe about $8,000. And at 15%, just the interest is now $100 a month. So if you're tempted by one of these deals, figure out how much a month it will take to pay it off completely before the promotion expires. If you're not absolutely sure you can do it, don't pull the trigger. I'm Gary Conley, and that's...
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Lufthansa won't be flying to Sharm el-Sheikh. The airline joining Britain suspending flights to the airport where that Russian plane took off from before it was maybe bombed out of the sky over the Egyptian desert.
Well, of course, we don't know for sure, but it has all the signs and symptoms of that.
Republican Congressman John Fleming, Egypt does not agree. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, Sharm el-Sheikh is a popular destination for British tourists, but flights between Sharm and the UK are now suspended. British Prime Minister David Cameron citing security concerns.
We can't be sure, but if it is the case, it's more likely than not a terrorist bomb on that plane. Then my job is to take the right action.
Cameron meeting with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who happens to be visiting London. Egypt says it's too early to say what caused the crash, but President Sisi saying Egypt is ready to work with allies to ensure security. Dave?
Simon, the presidential hopefuls keep filing.
All right.
In New Hampshire.
Someone have a pen?
Marco Rubio is the latest to sign papers to get on the ballot for the nation's first primary. Carly Fiorina will next hour. This afternoon, it's Bernie Sanders' turn. But the Wall Street Journal reports there are questions if the independent Vermont senator will qualify. The rules in the state say he has to be a registered Democrat. Sanders says his running for the nomination makes him a Democrat. They've just ID'd the student who stabbed 4 people at the University of California, Merced. Faisal Muhammad, an 18-year-old, shot and killed by campus police. Classes are canceled today.
I feel very safe on campus to walk out at night, so it's very weird, to be honest.
An NHL star is off the hook in a rape investigation. Chicago Blackhawk Patrick Kane will not be charged in Erie County, New York, where a woman claimed Kane sexually assaulted her in August. The DA says her case is rife with reasonable doubt. A boy reported missing 13 years ago by his mother in Alabama, found in Ohio living with his father.
He is 18. He is an adult, so it's kind of up to him now as to whether he wants to come back.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows.
Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home.
Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings.
We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows.
Highway 99 in Junction City.
Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows. CCB ET 0018.
Who doesn't want a shiny new electronic device? Sure, back home there's a garage or a basement full of old electronics that we don't talk about. But old electronics aren't garbage, and they're not useless. They're full of parts and materials that can be recycled into new electronics or donated to some wonderful causes. That flip phone and old computer can still live on. Recycling electronics is the green thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and it's so easy. Log on to greenergadgets.org and enter your zip code to find the recycling center nearest you.
And the story about the boy who was found in Ohio after 13 years with his father. That father, Bobby Hernandez, is facing abduction charges in both Alabama and Ohio. Transgendered people lost an attempt to get new discrimination protections at the ballot box in Houston Tuesday, but they are getting more recognition from the largest Jewish denomination in the country. Fox's Evan Brown explains live.
Now, Dave, 1.5 million American Jews attend synagogues affiliated with the Union for Reform Judaism, whose biennial convention in Orlando just voted to adopt guidelines aimed at accommodating transgendered members and clergy. Rabbi Jonah Pessner heads up the Union's Religious Action Center.
Creates policies and practices that will be affirming and inclusive for transgender people, from our Jewish summer camps to our synagogues.
Pessner adds the union has always been accepting of LGBT members, but this will encourage the use of everything from non-genderized paperwork to accommodating restrooms, Dave.
Evan, Louisiana State Police are looking for answers from city marshals in Marksville after a 6-year-old boy was shot in the back seat of his father's car Tuesday night, killed in the crossfire as marshals gave chase when the boy's dad drove off as they tried to serve a warrant.
It's detrimental to the community, to the police officers, to everybody involved.
State Trooper Scott Moreau. A little girl in Maine is alive, but suddenly alone.
A 4-year-old girl has lost her parents after they were murdered in their home in Oakland, Maine last night, along with another woman. Police say they all shared the home with the accused shooter, who shot himself outside the home. His body was found in the driveway. Officials got several 911 calls reporting a shooting around 8 o'clock Wednesday night. The girl was not hurt and has been turned over to relatives. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow is now down 50 points. The puppet joins the teddy bear, rubber ducky, and stick and ball in the National Toy Hall of Fame. The Super Soaker squirt gun will also be inducted along with
Twister. Your feet and hands go down.
Twister joins other enshrined games like Scrabble and Monopoly. There are now 59 classic toys in the Hall of Fame. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
8:05. You weren't paying attention, were you?
No.
Okay, it's 11:20 KPNW. 50% chance of rain, some clouds, and a top temp in the mid-50s. Areas of fog tonight, otherwise cloudy, and an overnight low down to 39. Currently, cloudy, wet, gray, and 43 degrees. At KPNW, they were talking about the toys that got selected into the Hall of Fame.
And we missed it.
541-45 KPNW if you heard it. Need some help.
Crank up Stevie Ray. Since
Need
we
some help
missed it.
here.
Yeah.
How about a reminder about the stream and, of course, little contest action?
Yeah. All right. I'm rocking out to Stevie Ray.
Okay.
I love that cut. Oh, now it's gone.
You're distracted.
Yeah. All right. So we have this stream, and it's not just, we have two streams. We have the audio stream, which you can pick up on iTunes Radio, or just simply go to KPNW.com, and you'll find it there where it says listen live. Okay, so you can listen to that on your desktop, on your laptop, in your smartphone. Then we have the extra added benefit of a video stream. For those of you who just think, God, I would really love to watch the action that's going on there, because I know there's like people dancing, and there's gunfights, and there's MMA and potentially volleyball going on. Okay, so to see the video, you go to KPNW.com, click on the little button up there that says shows. All right, and it'll have a drop down, and you'll see KPNW Wake Up Call. You click on that, and then you'll see, oh, look, it's the video stream. And you just start that, and then you can look at us as we do whatever it is that we do in here.
You dress it up a little bit.
What? Well, that's
look at us.
Well, okay.
You guys are dressed up.
Yeah. Well, what else would you call it other than look at us? You can look at us. You can stare. You can ask the simple question. Why are they doing that?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
The new inductees.
Okay.
The puppet.
All right, that's righteous.
Twister.
Yeah.
And Super Soaker.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I go with the Super Soaker.
Super Soaker.
Oh, absolutely.
What were the other?
Super Soaker, I like that. Puppet, that's good. That's pretty righteous. I do admit that I'm kind of sad that Battleship didn't make it, because I remember Battleship was on the list. And Battleship is, I loved it as a kid. Then when Brady was little, he and I played that to constantly. And it was still fun as an adult. I hadn't played it for years. And it's like, oh, this is so fun. And what were the other ones? Did you find them?
Yeah.
Okay, so Super Soaker, Puppet, what was the middle one? Oh,
Twister.
Puppet, yeah. Okay, get that.
I go with Puppet. I go with Puppet, and I go with Super Soaker.
Yeah, Twister's kind of a poor third.
It's not even a poor third. It's lame.
Battleship.
See, Battleship over
Coloring
Twister.
book.
Coloring book over Twister.
American Girl dolls.
Well, I don't know that much
Jenga.
about this.
Playmobil. Of course, Puppet, Super Soaker.
Jenga
Top,
was on the list?
Twister. Wiffle ball.
I would go wiffle ball over.
Wiffle ball.
Oh, over Twister, easy.
Easy.
I say wiffle ball over Super Soaker.
Tough call.
Oh, come on.
No.
More kids have played wiffle ball than have played Super Soaker.
I don't know.
Age is showing.
Yeah, I definitely.
What do you mean? Wait.
I definitely got hosed down by Super Soakers.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we just used a hose.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. Actually,
that was the Super Soaker old school.
I'll tell you what.
Water balloons.
Actually, the old school was to take a piece of surgical tubing, tie one end of it off, and you go to school where they have those in the science lab where they have those tapered down nozzle faucets, and fill one of the. You wrap it around yourself and you fill one of those things up, and they get about as big around as say a piece of salami. And incredible pressure, and you just run it down your sleeve, and you can hose down an entire hallway of people with one of those in no time. Don't ask me how I know that. I would have no idea how that happened.
Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course, it must be research on the internet back in those days,
yes,
right?
Yes, it was research at the time.
All right, we got a break. News coming up 8:10. News Radio 1120 KPNW. Stand by.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location. But if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only three food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature blink sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or get it meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
I'm working 2 jobs, and my husband works too. My kids go to school with your kids. I'm 1 out of every 6 Americans, and my family is struggling with hunger. I believe in this country, but it's hard to believe so many Americans have to choose between paying bills and feeding families. Visit feedingamerica.org and find your local food bank. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for those struggling with hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Get your Plenty card at Exxon or Mobil and start earning points at lots of places.
So I get points for filling up at Exxon?
You sure do.
What about getting coffee at Mobile?
Points.
Streaming TV shows on Hulu?
Definitely.
Points on my AT&T wireless bill?
Yep.
Buying soap?
At Rite Aid.
Buying you a birthday present?
Points at Macy's.
Visiting your parents?
No. You get marriage points.
Oh.
Exxon and Mobil are the only fuel brands that are part of Plenty, the rewards program that lets you earn points at one place and use them at another. Join Plenty for free through a participating Exxon or Mobil station today. Terms and limitations apply. See plenty.com/partners for details.
Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, offering a piping hot breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee to get you warmed up and feeling all warm and fuzzy first thing in the morning. Here's what's going on. eWeb has been getting an earful over their proposal to charge homeowners who use less electricity more and those who use more electricity less. Yesterday, the eWeb Board of Commissioners dropped their original proposal, but the utility is still expected to change its fee structure and electricity rates with the same outcome. It just won't cost quite as much because eWeb's new plan is to raise everybody's rates by 2.5% and increase the monthly basic fee for the simple privilege of using eWeb services from $20 to $25 a month. Now, those increases would offset a little eWeb's less is more, more is less billing plan. They still intend to go forward with it, though. The new proposal is going to be discussed by commissioners coming up on December 1st. Stephanie Rodakowski, a teacher at Thurston High School, is now a former teacher from Thurston High School after pleading guilty to charges of endangering the welfare of a minor and tampering with evidence. Rodakowski had sent nude pictures of herself in a video masturbating to a 15-year-old student. She was sentenced to 30 days in jail. The former English teacher will lose her teaching license, pay $200 in fines, and serve 3 years on probation. During that time, she can't have contact with kids except her own, and since both charges were misdemeanors, Rodakowski will not be required to register as a sex offender. The storms of the last week have left a mess of leaves and debris in yards and on the streets. So if you're cleaning up, do not leave your leaf piles out on the curb for pickup in Eugene yet.
We're going to start in the central area of Eugene on November 16th, and then starting November 23rd, we'll branch out into the neighborhoods, and we have a west zone, a south zone, and a north zone.
Eric Jones with Eugene Public Works says that piling up the leaves in the street too early will cause flooding and create a variety of hazards for motorists, bike riders, and pedestrians. That advice also carries over to Springfield, where leaf pickups occur even later in the month.
First round will start west of 28th Street Monday, November 30th, and then east of 28th Street Monday, December 7th. And then our second round of pickup starts west of 28th Street Monday, January 4th, and then again east of 28th Street Monday, January 11th.
Lorraine Spiro with Springfield Public Works says Springfield requires you to bag your own leaves. However, in Eugene, you can leave them unbagged along the side of the road. A nasty mess on Highway 58 closed the highway yesterday for more than 6 hours. A truck and trailer crashed. Now, normally that wouldn't close things down for 6 hours. This truck was special. It was loaded with 30,000 pounds of frozen human blood and plasma. The human blood and plasma was salvaged by bringing in another truck capable of storing the materials below freezing to keep them usable. The driver, Kent Osgood from Texas, was cited for failure to maintain a lane. By the way, that blood supply was not from the local area Red Cross nor at the Lane Blood Center. Voters in the South Lane Fire and Rescue District passed a bond measure on Tuesday. 20-37 will eventually give the district an entirely new front line of firefighting equipment. That fleet will consist of 5, possibly 6 new pieces of firefighting apparatus, including a ladder truck.
Manufacturers are already contacting us, so we should have some kind of idea of what we're going to buy within a month or two, and my hope is to take that to the board for contract awarding and approval in January of 16, and then we would place those orders right after that.
Chief John Wooten says it'll likely be early 2017 before the district takes delivery of the new trucks. The district's going to use social media to give periodic updates. An Oregon nonprofit filed a lawsuit to reinstate a state law that would allow people to get driver's cards if they're illegal aliens. The law was approved by the legislature in 2013, but overturned by voters the following year overwhelmingly in a referendum. In its lawsuit, the Oregon Law Center says it's illegal for Oregon to enforce Measure 88 because it's motivated by a desire to regulate immigration laws, which it says is the job of the federal government. The lawsuit also says the measure was driven by animosity and a desire to punish or avoid rewarding a politically unpopular minority, which would be, in their words, the Mexican or Central American folks in this country. The new federal budget cuts $1.5 billion from the Victims of Crime Fund. Brad Ford reports that's affecting victim support programs across the country. And it's money, in reality, that's not even the government's.
The fund is maintained with money from fines paid by criminals. It is not taxpayer money. Janet Huerta, executive director of Saving Grace in Bend, says Congress shouldn't be able to touch it.
Essentially, they're breaking their own law because the statute reads that the sums deposited shall remain in the fund.
Losing the money will affect their ability to help victims.
For organizations that are really dependent on it, those victims in those areas that get served by those organizations, they're really going to be hurt.
The fund was created by Congress in 1984. Huerta says larger groups should be able to cover the loss, but smaller programs will definitely be hurt. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Governor Kate Brown announced a leadership change in an independent review of the Oregon Department of Human Services. The move came yesterday, hours after a Willamette Week story saying agency officials knew about alleged problems with a Portland foster care provider, but still continued to place children there. 2 weeks ago, the Oregon Department of Justice filed a lawsuit accusing the provider called Give Us This Day of misspending, wait for it, $2 million in state funds. Brown said in a statement she has serious concerns. Oh. Oregon's Chief Operating Officer, Clyde Sakai, will replace interim agency director Jerry Waybrandt. Waybrandt took over this summer after longtime director Aaron Kelly-Sile stepped down. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley is leading an effort to pass a bill that would kill jobs in this country by stopping new drilling and exploration for fossil fuels in the U.S. Merkley says it's a critical step that he needs to take to stop global warming.
It is said, if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. This is the one place where we literally have to quit digging.
The Keep It in the Ground Act would stop new drilling for fossil fuels in the U.S. and also in any waters controlled by the U.S. in the Pacific, Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic, and Arctic. The recently passed federal budget allows collectors of federally backed loans to make robocalls in an attempt to collect their money. Brad Ford reports Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, who is going for re-election, is now saying he's fighting it.
Senator Ron Wyden says the budget bill removes some protections provided by the Telephone Consumer Protection Act.
A new way to harass people through robocalls.
The bill allows lenders for things such as student loans, mortgages, veterans, and farmers, anyone with a federally backed loan, to make robocalls to collect their overdue money. Wyden says their bill would return the original protections.
The Hang Up Act will protect Americans from an onslaught of aggressive phone calls and costly cell phone charges.
Wyden is being joined by 9 Democratic senators and independent Bernie Sanders in their attempt to get the bill passed. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Legal indoor marijuana growing operations are now a new electrical safety concern in Oregon. That's because growers are overloading the power grid and causing blackouts, according to Pacific Power. Pacific Power said that it has had 7 incidents since July 1st where added usage attributed to home-based growing operations actually overloaded local equipment and caused outages. In those cases, after an investigation, the utility billed those responsible an average of $5,000 each for the outside load, which overburdened and damaged local equipment. So if you're a hunter, a hiker, a mushroom picker, or you just love the outdoors, well, the fires over the summer are now officially affecting your accessibility now that the fires are out, particularly on BLM lands outside the Roseburg district.
Yes, both Cable Crossing and Stouts Creek fire areas remain closed on BLM lands for public safety and, land health and resource integrity while we restore the areas.
Those areas are closed to any means of motorized and non-motorized transportation, including foot traffic. The closure remains in effect until hazards have been cleared. There's no clear end date for cleanup, and if you have to traverse those areas, make sure you check your local BLM site first. Well, police arrested a man accused of chasing people through a Corvallis park with an axe. 2 Oregon State University students told police the man followed them and said, "I'm the axe man. I'm going to get you." The students ran away. They called police. Police arrived and arrested 27-year-old Zachary Williams. Now, according to the court records, prosecutors are accusing Williams of actually harassing 5 people. He's charged with menacing, unlawful use of a weapon against another, disorderly conduct, and probation violation. He's also being charged with theft because allegedly he stole the axe. Williams' court-appointed attorney didn't immediately respond to any requests for comment. And Haystack Rock in Cannon Beach is one of the most iconic features on the Oregon coast. And now an awareness group is making a push to protect it by reminding people, stay off it. It's actually a protected national wildlife refuge. The group says that from February to September, it intercepted more than 1,200 people who are trying to climb the rock. There are signs posted and volunteers are on site to get the word out, stay off the rock. Haystack Rock is the top Instagrammed location in the entire state of Oregon. It's 8:23. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
4/5 of the starting lineup gone. Pack of new names on the roster. If other NBA teams circled the Portland Trail Blazers as a gimme on their schedule, they might have a little bit of a surprise this year. They still have Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. Lillard, 35 points. McCollum, 27. Blazers down the Utah Jazz, 108-92. 2 undefeated teams played last night. Golden State Warriors and the L.A. Clippers. Warriors persevered after being down by 10 in the fourth to beat the Clippers, 112-108. Steph Curry, 31 points on 7 of 11 from the three-land. In Washington, the Wizards stood by the San Antonio Spurs, 102-99. Bradley Beal scored a 3 with 3/10 of a second left for the walk-off jumper. LeBron James does his best Hulk impression, scoring 23. Cavaliers win by 10 over the New York Knicks, 96-86. Oregon wide receiver Byron Marshall had a decision in January whether to return to the Ducks and college football. Well, this winter, he'll be contemplating the same thing. He could return with the NCAA's medical hardship waiver, having played less than 30%, assuming they make a bowl game. Might not be done with Byron. He could be added to a receiver core with Devin Allen, Braylon Addison, Darren Carrington next year. We just have to find somebody to throw to him. High school soccer, 5A boys, the Springfield Millers will face off with Wilsonville on Saturday. 4A, Junction City plays Staten. Crestwell takes on Oregon Episcopal. In girls, 5A girls, Marist tackles Hillsboro and the Pleasant Hill Lowell hybrid team. We'll call them PLOL. They've got Oregon Episcopal on Saturday. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside Neighborhood Sports headquarters and pub at 825.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it might be a good idea to take your umbrella. We've been tracking showers off and on throughout the night. Now expect them to die off for the next couple of hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Temps out there right now in the mid to low 40s with light winds. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue, but not a real shot at rain. We will see highs rising up to the mid-50s out there with a high of 56 here in town. Friday looks pretty good. High pressure moves in with mostly sunny skies and temps back into the upper 50s to low 60s, but I'm already tracking a massive system set for the weekend. Looks to be a wet one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
With 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, where will you go? Toyota Care. 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance, standard on all new models. Visit your Northwest Toyota dealer today.
Hurry to your Northwest Toyota dealer for the best deals on the best selection of new Toyotas.
Toyota. Let's go places. Covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. New vehicle cannot be part of a rental or commercial fleet. See participating dealer for plan details.
Northwest Burger inside the 5th Street Market features burgers so amazing they're an experience all their own. Freshly ground meat and local produce combined with the creativity of local chef Garrett Kirsch makes for a burger experience like no other. You'll get mouth-watering goodness in every single bite. Check out their menu and photos on Facebook. Northwest Burger, located in the 5th Street Market. It's not just a burger, it's an experience.
What's your most important document?
This week, a paid invoice.
The McGrath proposal.
Olivia's adoption papers.
Documents are who we are and what we do. With intelligent printers and MFPs, customized apps and services, Kyocera Document Solutions helps companies capture, distribute, and manage the many documents that matter. Because if the document is important,
my winning business plan.
The company is important. Learn more at oldtrex.com.
Are some rooms hot while others are cold? Is mold an issue? I'm Josh from Josh Lowe's Dr. Energy Saver. We'll provide a free home comfort and energy evaluation. Find the causes of these problems and fix them. Call Josh Lowe's Dr. Energy Saver today at 248-1173. That's 248-1173. Or online at OregonEnergySaver.com.
Josh Lowe's Dr. Energy Saver. We fix uncomfortable homes.
Gosh, I was singing along with that, too. Well, the holiday season almost here, and our friends at Guaranty Chevrolet are saluting all the hardworking people here in the Willamette Valley. And if you're one of those hardworking folks, they have now the annual college football bet campaign that is just ramping up. And they're also helping out some folks with special new offers that, you know, maybe you're having some or had some financial problems. Guaranty's Good People, Bad Credit program is designed to help folks that have had some difficulty because of medical bills or student loans or financial setbacks in the past few years. And what they'll do is they'll help you get a quality, safe, reliable vehicle in 48 hours or less, and then they'll stand beside you while you get your credit reestablished. So even if you've had late payments or a foreclosure, Guaranty's finance specialists are going to help you out. And you may have seen this on TV as part of Guaranty's annual Big Bet Ducks and Beavers sale. You can enter to win the ultimate tailgate experience for this month's big game. No purchase required. So if you want to find out more about the Good People, Bad Credit program, contact Robert at 541-998-2333, 998-2333. It's Robert Sloan. And remember, what's the saying, Rob? Sloan gets the loan. Rob liked that earlier. It's 8:29.
See a problem on the commute? Be an official KPNW wake-up call road ranger today. Call 541-344-2424 and report it. Dakota Ring and Road Ranger Keep and Sombreros sold separately. The Road Ranger Network, exclusively on 1120 KPNW.
We need to snag ourselves a couple of sombreros. That's one of the things that we don't have. I mean, people bring us baseball caps periodically. Like yesterday, the guy from the bank, or from the museum, brought us 75-year smoke jumpers hats, which is cool, but nobody brings us sombreros. I think that somebody needs to consider that. Just saying.
That should be up to your burrito guys.
Yeah, Burrito Amigos. Maybe we can get them, convince them that we need some Burrito Amigos.
I saw Larry yesterday at the store, and he wants to come in.
He does?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's he going? Is he going to bring something? He just want to come in and
I'll bring
chat?
food and we'll have a party. I said, you know what? You don't need food. You're the party.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring food, we won't say
Right.
no.
And we'll make it a fiesta. So, Larry, if you're listening right now, make sure you bring us the sombreros to make it complete. Anyway, Gary Connolly joining us on the wake-up call this morning, as always on a Thursday morning. Gary Connolly, president of Connolly Capital, here in the Eugene area. All right, so this morning, you sent an article a couple of weeks ago that I found fascinating, and it's like, oh, well, this kind of makes sense. There's different ways, different terminology for it. We were actually, before we got on the air, we were discussing, because I had mentioned that I had just read an article just very recently that was talking about the difference between financial and corporate capitalism. Then you were saying, well, yeah, but actually it's more entrepreneurial capitalism versus financial capitalism. And then we both agreed it's creative versus distributive capitalism, but they're all basically kind of the same things.
They are, and I don't like the word corporate because it's got too many, negative overtones now. I mean, it's another one of those terms that's been hijacked, I think, in a bunch of ways.
Yeah.
But the difference between creative and distributive parts of the economy, an economy is made up of those two things, obviously with some stuff gradational, is that the creative part is something that actually makes something out of nothing in the beginning, but might make something with some raw materials.
So, like for instance, Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, any of those companies like that where they're actually making something that people buy and use.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a good; could be a service. Also.
Right.
As opposed to the distributive part, or financialization part, which is essentially just shuffling money around, so that the creative part of the economy actually adds to the whole. And the distributive part is just, as I said, shuffling money around where, you've got a winner, as opposed to society as a whole being winners, you've got winners and losers, and so you've got some organizations who are taking from others. So let me give you just a really quick illustration of that. So take two people, okay, very, very rich people, one richer than the other. Take Bill Gates, okay, and Microsoft. That would be a creative part of the economy.
All right.
And then you can take one of the original billionaires, a guy named George Soros,
okay,
who made $1 billion back in 20 years ago when $1 billion really was $1 billion. Yeah, and he did that by simply selling the British pound short through a currency attack. So that would be a completely distributive kind of thing. You might argue that the market need normalized, or the pound need normalized anyway, but Soros didn't contribute anything to anything. And since then, he's just kind of mucked around as a left-wing socialist, using his money to, for various sorts of things that still really aren't creative of much of anything, in my opinion. So that'd be the difference between creative and distributive.
Okay, so the distributive part of it, like Bill Gates, I mean, obviously...
No, the creative part.
Or the creative part, like Bill Gates. Here's a guy that, he made something. He's employing a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I mean, not only through Microsoft, but, I mean, computer makers who use his particular platform for their particular products. I mean, the places that sell them, it's...
Well, and in the case
of a wide net.
Yeah, and in the case of Microsoft, it basically changed the world.
Right.
In many, many different ways. So,
so distributive. Explain a little bit more the phraseology of distributive, because I think some people may look at that and go, well, I'm not seeing how this is distributing anything.
Well, it isn't really distributing anything in the case of, like the beverage distributor. Yeah, I mean, it's just, all it is really shuffling money around where what you gain, I lose.
So in other words, you're taking from one and giving to another.
Well, not giving to another necessarily. You just got winners and losers. Yeah. I mean, a classic, I guess, distributive sort of function would be, let's say, a poker table in Las Vegas, okay, where the winners are taking from the losers, and then the expenses are coming out of the side. The house is taking that, but there's nothing really created there. The amount of money that was in the game from the beginning is the same amount that was in the end, less the table fees, and so that's a distributive function.
All right.
Or a redistributive function.
So where are we, I mean, looking at our current stock market situation, our current market situation, one would assume we tend to be in kind of that distributive mode right now.
Well, I think the economy is got too little of the creative side and too much of the distributive side. Over-financialization is what it's called. In terms of the kinds of trading and derivatives, some of the derivative products and some of the things that we've talked about. The World Bank has done some research that suggests that, and financialization is not all bad. I mean, being able to borrow money for productive purposes is a good thing. It helps the economy grow, helps things grow in a much a much quicker and much better and much more efficient way than it would without borrowed money. The question is, how much is the right amount? The World Bank research would suggest that the right amount of debt in terms of a balanced economy would be someplace between 80% and 100% of the gross domestic product, or the economy as a whole. In the United States, and we're far from the largest, in 2014, which are the latest numbers that were available, it was 194%. So what that suggests is that there's way too much debt, way too much money sloshing around in the system that the Fed is printed, and yet there are no jobs creating. The participation and percentage of the working population participating in the labor force is going down. So you've got the stock market going up, you've got prices of other assets that have gone up, and so all of this money that's been printed has just basically been gone into asset inflation, or a distributive function, a lot of which is the responsibility of, or you could lay at the feet of Wall Street. So, that's how you can have a rising stock market, which in a simple form is supposed to be an indication of a good economy, and yet have an economy like we have that's bumping along, where there's not really any job creation, and in the middle class is getting hollowed out. Part of that is because of what's called creative destruction, or things like Microsoft, or more and more computing power that we've talked about with biotech, and that's in the price. It's eliminated a lot of jobs and going to eliminate a lot more. But part of it is just simply, shuffling stuff around in a financialization way, because of all this money that's sloshing around in the system. And make no bones about it, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of money to be made at that, particularly because of the amount of leverage.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How does the average guy or average gal look at that and go, all right, so I'm going to take that portion of the pie for myself? How do they go? How do you end up getting into the game and getting a share?
You don't.
Oh, all right. Well, how do you make money? How do you make money on it? How do I make a little money on that?
Well, I don't know how you make a little money on that in other than a speculative way. I mean, you can certainly participate in the stock market if you believe it's going to continue to go up, and as long as they continue to print money and things are the way they are, it may well. The thing that you would want to look for in that situation is anything that suggests that interest rates are going to go up, or that they're going to print less money, because in a sort of normal creative sense that we were talking about in the economy, and stocks are very expensive. And so if things were to get back anywhere near normal, then there's a lot of risk there. So that's a way to play, certainly, but you have to understand that you're basically speculating. You're not as we'd say, investing in the creative entrepreneurial sort of process. And you look at a company like IBM, for example, where the price of it has gone up, but most of it is due to financial engineering. I mean, they're managing the earnings by buying back stock, by borrowing money to do that, as opposed to, it's not that they don't create anything, but as opposed to creating as much as they would normally. Other statistics,
or what they used to.
Well, what they used to, but the statistics would suggest that a public company, because it's kind of under the thumb of the Wall Street expectations, earnings, stock price going up, the way the top executives get paid, tied to the stock price, actually invests in plant and equipment and research about half what a private company does, so that the company is much more financialized or distributive than it would be if it was private, than it is creative.
So what's the nugget here?
Well, I think the nugget really is for the average guy out there that you need to understand how the system is loaded at this point. And to the extent that you are in the stock market or investing in things, you need to be very, very carefully watch for signs of less money printing, because I think that's going to cause a big downdraft. The other thing that you can do is, realize that with interest rates the way they are, you can refinance your debt at a very small interest rate, and then pay it down as quickly as possible, because if/when this stuff comes unglued, having a lot of leverage or owing a lot of money is not going to be a good thing. And if interest rates are really low, the same payment pays down more principal than it does interest.
There you go.
So I'll give you one other thing to think about. If you think about this,
what's a bonus nugget?
Yeah, creative distributive thing. If you looked at education or the education system at this point, and again, remember that none of this is all one way or all the other. Would you characterize education as creative or distributive? And you can...
Well, are you talking about K through 12, or are you talking about college? Because if it's college, definitely it's distributive.
Yeah, well, I don't know that K through 12 maybe is not distributive also. I mean, it's not pure, but I think that would be worth talking about at some point.
All right. It's Gary Connolly, president of Conley Capital, joining us on the Wake Up Call. It is 8:42.
It's your money. And this is your Wake Up Call Market Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The Federal Reserve probably will press ahead next month with its first interest rate increase since 2006. If payroll growth averages the roughly 180,000 that economists project for October. That's a view of a number of Fed watchers ahead of Friday's monthly jobs report. Stocks are lower ahead of that. Whole Foods lower in trade and quarterly sales and earnings missing estimates, renewing fears that the chain's days as a growth company are over. Whole Foods is struggling to ward off competition from traditional supermarkets as organic food becomes mainstream. Some of America's coal producers are doing what anyone else might do when faced with tough times and the need to shop. They are hitting the thrift stores. Shopping for secondhand deals and stripping down used equipment for parts has become critical to coal producers weathering an unprecedented industry downturn. It also underscores how desperate the nation's miners are to avoid going out of business. Courtney Dunhope, Bloomberg Radio.
The Eugene Symphony Guild is proud to present Come to the Cabaret, a fabulous dinner and cabaret show at the Hilton Garden Inn. Wonderful performances featuring music from Les Mis, Sweeney Todd, Hairspray, Dames at Sea, La Cage aux Folles, She Loves Me, and more. Plus, a dessert auction benefiting the Eugene Symphony. It's an evening not to be missed, and it's just around the corner on Friday, November 13th. Gather up your friends and make your reservations today, as seating is limited. For more details, go to eugenesymphonyguild.org. Money Saver Cards, Coburg Road Car Wash, a quarter-mile north of the Oakway Center.
If you still not refinance your mortgage, well, soon you may be kicking yourself in the head. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial, and interest rates have gone up recently and will continue to rise, but they're still at historical lows, so don't delay. Let us lower your monthly payment, consolidate a first and second, pay off other debt, or drop you into a 15-year loan with no closing costs. That's right, nothing's rolled into your loan. We'll pay for your appraisal, title, underwriting, settlement fee, everything. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Whether to purchase or refinance, you'll pay no closing costs. You won't spend a dime. Think about it. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how we can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. And by the way, Westland Financial now is proud to offer reverse mortgages for our clients over 62.
Call Westland Financial today at 1-800-431-2765. That's 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431-2765. And MLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Is your mattress talking to you? If it is, you may need psychotropic drugs. No, seriously. If your mattress is, for instance, keeping you awake, it's saying something to you. It's saying, I'm old, I'm worn out, you need to get rid of me. Your mattress, need to be euthanized. If you're waking up with kinks in your back and so on and so forth, and you notice that your mattress, when you get out of it, kind of retains the shape of your butt, well, you can pretty much figure that your mattress is telling you, yes, I am really, really old, and you need to go down to Sleep Train and get something new. Now, it may not be saying those exact things. If it is saying those exact things, I go back to my original statement about the psychotropics. But if you're getting the indications that your mattress is worn out, head down to Sleep Train. You'll find a variety of ways that you're going to save on a great mattress. Whether we're talking Simmons Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic or the Tempur-Pedic Breeze, right now, during Mattress Price Wars, for instance, Tempur-Pedic is going to give you $300 off a Tempur-Pedic Breeze, plus they'll give you a Visa gift card up to $300 in value when you add a movable base. And the movable bases are great. They're adjustable, so you can raise the head, raise it underneath the knees, whatever. I mean, you find that sweet spot, and you'll be surprised how much better you'll sleep. And you even get to sleep interest-free until 2018 with no money down on a Tempur-Pedic with approved credit and 36 equal monthly payments required. Mattress Price Wars is going on. It's a great way for you to save.
Yeah, go to Sleep Train and get a new mattress, and then you can be drug-free, and it won't talk to you. It will talk to you, but it will give you probably more something poetic, something melodic. Sleep Train in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, Salem, Albany, all over. They're your ticket to a better night's rest.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Okay, 8:47, our remaining moments of a Thursday go-round, taken up by Ryan Wheeler, who's I guess we can say, since it's not been quite the year, he is the new executive director at the Boys and Girls Club, and this is our first time having you come into the studio, so I guess the first order of business, why did it take so long?
Yeah.
I guess Val Steele, who's been helping us out. I mean, she's
slow.
Yeah,
she's a great lady, but man,
she's got a lot on her plate. Too much stuff going on. So tell us, before we talk about the club, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I moved out here to take over the Boys and Girls Club from Indiana in January. I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. My dad was a club kid. My dad was a 20-plus year club exec.
Wow.
Met my mom at the club, met my wife at the club, and it truly, it's a mission that chose me. And so very happy to be out here serving the kids and the community.
What about it, since you have such a history, what about the club speaks to you and do you feel so passionate about?
Well, I think the really neat thing about the Boys and Girls Club is a lot of nonprofits kind of say, here's the box. Can our constituents fit in it? And we try to really take one thing and make that happen. The Boys and Girls Club can really fit almost any need a child has. And so if you think about a kid that may be very affluent in a two-parent home, but the parents are working very hard, those kids still need a safe place to learn and grow. And we have kids that come to the club that are homeless, living in the shelter, and they're either going to be in the shelter or they're going to be at the Boys and Girls Club with their peers, and their peers don't know they live in the shelter. We can offer academic homework help. We can offer health and life skills. We offer character and leadership. We can offer anything to the kids that we need, and we get to take our constituents at that point in time and say, what do they need this year, this day, this moment, this minute, and try to help them out.
So for somebody that maybe doesn't know, and maybe has heard or even donated, but doesn't know exactly what happens, what the organization does. I mean, you kind of hinted as a couple of things, but yeah. I mean, overall, what do you guys provide?
Our mission is to inspire and empower all young people, especially those who need us most, to realize their full potential as productive, responsible, caring citizens. I mean, we're trying to prepare kids for adulthood. That may be financial literacy. That may be just giving them a hot meal that day. But we really focus on 3 priority outcomes of academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character and citizenship. So we feel if we can hit those 3 things, we'll have a well-rounded young man or young woman that's ready to contribute to this society, their community, the world. We treat every kid like they're the one. They could be the one that could change the world for good or bad, and we let them know that they have that ability to influence their surroundings.
When you have that tough day, when you have that day where you're just having a hard time getting through it, is there one story, is there one, I guess, winning, outcome, winning story, a payoff that you think of? Is there somebody in particular?
You know what? I had a meeting with some moms. I invited some parents to kind of give I've been here a few months, and I invited some parents to give some feedback. And just wanted to hear what really, why they chose the club and why they chose to stay. And I had one mom who told me, I had 3 kids, I was going to grad school, I was working 2 jobs, and my husband decided to say, it's time for divorce. course. And she goes, I had no idea where to turn. I would take my middle school age daughter out of school to watch the younger ones, because you guys know Eugene's not always on, the schools aren't always on the same schedule, because I felt horrible. But I had to have my older daughter pulled out of school to make sure my kids were safe that didn't have school. She goes, when I found the Boys and Girls Club, it was a godsend. She goes, it was like having a family who was there to help me. And another mom quickly chimed in and said, you know what, I've got parents who could probably help me, but this allows me to do it on my own. And so I thought that was really neat. We're not just here to help kids, we help families. And so if I'm having a hard day, the easiest thing is walk out of my office door and see a kid, play pool, give you a high five, ask them how their day was. They show you their A's on their tests when they got a D a few weeks before. I mean, that's worth all of it.
I think that's one of the big misconceptions of the Boys and Girls Club. I think a lot of people just think, oh, they just do, basketball during the fall and football during the spring, and it's just all it is an athletic program for kids, and it really is. I mean, that's just a small slice of the pie.
Well, absolutely, and you think about being such a small area. Albany Boys and Girls Club is they do a lot of sports. Yeah. Kids sports runs it here, so we get confused with kids sports in town because some people know what Albany does. We get confused with Big Brothers Big Sisters. We get confused with Boy Scouts, but we are so much more. And some people think, Boys and Girls Club, it's a cheap, glorified babysitter. And you know what? Some parents come to us out of that because they need it. But if we can't change their mind very quickly that we're a youth development program, we haven't done our job. And I think from that mom story, I think we're doing our job.
Not a lot of people know this because it wasn't publicized, but Marcus Mariota spent a lot of time there at the club, and I got reports of people, him hanging out with the kid.
Well, Andy Manuel, and you've heard Andy Manuel on this station. He works on Cool primarily now. Andy was I think it was a week and a half ago, he's sitting out at the front desk, he's looking at pictures on his phone, and there's a picture of his grandson playing pool with Marcus Mariota. I mean, I'm just like, who is, that's Marcus. And he goes, oh yeah, he used to go out to the Boys and Girls Club all the time.
Yeah, I've not met Marcus myself. My first day was the day of the national championship game. So I showed up, a very exciting day in Eugene. But it was
For
really,
a while.
Yeah, it was so interesting to come in, and we worked with Marcus's mom to help us with some of our auction. I've not worked with Marcus directly, but his shadow definitely casts very large on our club. Kids right now remember him not as a football star, but as the volunteer who really cared about him. Marcus, the next day, kids were coming in. You guys remember him getting his shoulder hurt. I was wondering how my friend's shoulder was, and they were really concerned about that. Wow. Now that he's hurt his knee, they wanted to make a thank you card and send it to him. We did. Or get well card. We sent him a get well card, and really continue to try to stay in touch that way, because that's what we're looking for, and that's what we build with our staff, people with great character. And although I've not met Marcus, he just seems like a guy of wonderful character, and that's what we want our children to emulate.
Not many players, I think, would respond and be engaged. Yeah. He is one that I think that will be there, and even when he comes back to Eugene, will stop by the club.
Oh, and you know what? There's so many wonderful former players and current players. DeForest Buckner, Eric Dargan, so many current players to the O Heroes program. I think Marcus has kind of set that tone to give back in everything. Girls soccer, track and field. We had the men's hockey team in. Really all kinds of athletes coming in and giving back. That really the main thing is the student athletes, to let them know that these kids need to get their homework done and work hard in school.
Anything coming up that people should know about that they can get engaged and help out?
Yeah, we've got this Saturday is the homecoming game. We were very lucky that Boy Scouts of America kind of donated us this tailgate area. And so we had Ideal Steel donate us a very awesome fire pit that is handmade. It's customized, and it's a very cool U of O fire pit. We're raffling off one ticket for $10 or 3 for $20. We will have Texas Roadhouse out there handing out sliders and helping us promote. And we'll also have some Star Wars characters walking around the tailgate fields. helping to promote so folks can take pictures with the Star Wars characters. I don't know exactly who all will be there, but I'm sure we'll have some stormtroopers.
No, I'm sure that I know one of them that's going to be there. That would be KPNW's very own geek lord, Alan Quick.
Awesome. Oh, now he's KPNW. Now he's taking him over.
Yeah, well, no, wait, remember, he's been our official geek lord.
Is there website information?
Yeah, we are selling online. If you want to go to facebook.com/BGCEV, there's a very easy way to get to our website. If you go to our website, go to www.bgcev.net and go to Get Involved, and there's a Light the Fire raffle, and it'll take you right there. If you want to buy them online, PayPal, we can do it that way, or come see us.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Ryan Wheeler with Boys and Girls Club on KPNW.
Winter weather is right around the corner, but we have some cold, hard cash to heat things up. Come on over to Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence this November and see how much cash you can grab in 60 seconds in our Hot Seat Cash Cube giveaway. Winners will be drawn hourly every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out threeriverscasino.com for all the details. And coming soon, get ready to put on your blue suede shoes because, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis is in the building. That's right. The ultimate Elvis impersonator, Justin Shandor, returns to Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence for 3 epic performances. Reserve your tickets now for Elvis, January 15th and 16th. Go to threeriverscasino.com for all the details. We got the cash and we got the king at Three Rivers Casino Resort because things are luckier here.
Summer never ends at the River House Hotel in Bend. Now is the perfect time to escape and enjoy sunshine and outdoor adventure. You'll be delighted with a stay at the River House Hotel located on the banks of the Deschutes River.